Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a new house for Christmas. Actually, it could go for any time of year, not just Christmas. It has a little swag on it there. This little swag. And the paper that I used makes it Christmassy, but you can make it for any time of year, you know, winter, spring, summer, patriotic, fall, Thanksgiving, every day. Any kind of paper collection that you want to use is going to be cool. I love it because even though the front looks amazing and has a lot of detail with that curved roof, it's mostly like really straightforward, easy, straight lines to it. So a lot of the curved parts are just like facades, so that the actual gluing together of parts is like straight on straight instead of anything curved, because that's always a little trickier. So even though it looks really cool and I love how it came out, it's also fun to make because it's easy and straightforward. It only takes 7 sheets of white cardstock, or you could certainly make it in different colors, obviously, like I always say. Or there it is there. You can make it in white with 7 sheets of cardstock, or you could do it in different colors. And then it also uses 2 sheets of black cardstock for the base, which I had a lot of fun making it look frosty and making it look Christmassy and using this Santa paper on it. But I know I already said it, but you can make it look however you want. What else do I need to say? I was inspired by my trip to Galena, Illinois in September with my sister. We went to Galena. I live in Illinois, and we went to Galena in September together. I've been there before as a teenager, but I hadn't been there in a while. And if you're not familiar with it, they have a ton of really cool old historic buildings there. It was like a boom town because they had a lead mine. So it seems like everyone was like living it up back in the day. And there's tons of really old buildings in the downtown. It's really cool. So I wanted to make a new structure that was like a shop front. So I used some kind of like Galena era architecture as inspiration, as well as a building that's in Franklin, Tennessee. Currently houses the Chicos. I kind of used that heavily as inspiration for this building. And yeah, so if you're new to my channel, I design projects out of paper for cutting machines such as the Cricut, the Silhouette, the Scan and Cut, the Caesar, Romeo or Juliet, the StarCraft Solo. There might be some others that I'm forgetting about. And I've been doing this for 16 years now, and this is what I do. So my big thing is I like to make it fun and easy, because I wouldn't still be in business if it wasn't fun and easy enough to make my designs. So I want you to have fun making it, so I make sure they're not too complicated, and I show you how to put them together step by step. But if you're not new to my channel, thanks for tuning in again, and thanks for being here. I couldn't do what I do without you. So I guess it's time for me to get started. I have all my pieces cut out to show you exactly how this building goes together step by step. So let's get started. Just so we're starting off on the same page, I have all of my shapes here. So I haven't organized them very much because I don't want you to feel like you're already not in the same place as me, but I do just generally have them grouped here by patterned papers. These go over the windows. Most of these are pretty large. It's really just like the sides, the front, the top. Pretty straightforward, so that's easy peasy. We'll get to those in a little bit. Then I have my white pieces, which we cut out of 7 pieces of white cardstock. Yours might be a different color, but that's this pile. Then I have my base shapes, which I cut out of black, and that was just out of 2 sheets of black cardstock. Pretty straightforward. Then I have my green shapes here, which I put on this little pedestal so you could see them. Otherwise, if I put them right down on this green paper, it's hard to see. Then I have my vellum. For my original structure, I used plain vellum, which looks amazing too, but this time I wanted to see how some gold shimmer vellum looked. And that's that. So I'm gonna put my base pieces to the side, and I'm gonna take a look at these pieces here. If you wanna go ahead and take this one out, it looks like this. You can put this with your base. This is gonna go inside the base for some support. And then I have these large white shapes, which are the 4 walls. We have 3, we have 2, we have 4, and then 1 is in 2 pieces. Here's the bottom of 1, and this is the top of 1. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I've got the top and the bottom. The top is a little smaller, the bottom's a little larger. And then these pieces, a lot of these are a little smaller, but this is the front entrance, like the front entryway window trim and everything. It's pretty much all in one piece. And this looks really crazy, but this is just so that this, it's basically like a support, 2 support pieces that are just welded in there. And I did that so that we could squeeze them in without having to make them into a separate shape. Don't even need to know that, but in case you're wondering why that looks kind of kooky. Then we have these 2 long horizontal pieces, and these are going to be the trim. This one is the trim that goes at the top, across the top, and this is a trim that goes across kind of the middle between the 2nd and 3rd floors. And then I'm just going to put these pieces, I'm going to group them, maybe just kind of like, just so we're on the same page. We can put these like medium-sized pieces in a pile. We've got our tea set. There's 4 pieces that look like this. Those are little support pieces that go underneath the middle horizontal trim. I'm just gonna make kind of a pile of arched shapes. I'm gonna make just a general pile of arched shapes and a general pile of like long skinny shapes, just so you and I can sort of be on the same page with what we have and where it is. Archy shapes, window shapes are also kind of arched. So I will just put these in some sort of organized general piles. Then I have these over here. And as usual, I hope I'm not over complicating, because there's only so much detail you really need right now. But let me know how I'm doing in the comments at any time, because I always want to make my videos better, more helpful, but without being too detailed and oversaturated with information that you may or may not need. So there's a fine line. Okay, so I've got my arched shapes, windows. There's 2, 2, and 3. Then I just have these left, which are part of the entryway trim. So these go together. this one, and these. And this goes on it too. Put those all together if you want. This plain long skinny one goes along with these 4 that look like this. And now we've pretty much got them all grouped generally together. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and put them off to the side. I'm gonna take my top and my bottom and put them off to the side too. And I'm gonna put my, let's see, what's the best way for us to proceed? I'm gonna put my entryway pile off to the side too. And let's see, we've got 4. Okay, I've got 2, 3, and 4 and 1. I will grab my patterned pieces. These 2 here are gonna go with these medium shapes. This goes on the back, which is this one, number 3. And this goes with it too. I'm gonna put this off to the side. This is the whole back. Wall number 2 does not have the side cut out. So that would be this one, wall number 2. I also have to cut this shape out. Your machine could have cut this out, or you can cut it out by hand. I'm gonna put that to the side. Then we have this one, put that off to the side. Then there's this. And there's this. And then this is the top, just goes right on the top. I'll put that in my little pile of the top and the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, this is the front of my building here. There's 2 dormer style windows and then 3 flat windows. So the dormer windows are made up of these pieces, and there's 2 of them. So we'll put those up there. These 3 arches are gonna go on these 3 windows here. This is part of the entryway. This arch, this and this, these are all part of the entryway. So put those on your entryway pile, which is this. These are the dormer toppers, 2 of them. This you can put in your entryway pile too. And then these 2 arches go on the 2 dormers. So up here, we've got these 3, which go here, dormers and dormers. I laid out all these long skinny pieces, and I just want to help you identify what they are and where they go. If it looks overwhelming, just bear with me here. So first we have these squiggly ones. These are going to be going on the sides. So I'm going to put those in my pile of sides and back. I have this pile of the side walls and the back wall. I'll put that there. I also have this 3x4 element, which is going to go here. So this is my pile of sides and back. I'll put that up here. This tiniest, smallest one here, this is going to go in your entryway pile, which I'll move over here. This is my entryway pile. I'm putting that with this. Then we have these. These are going to go on either side of the dormers. So I'll put those in this pile. Then I have two that are the same, one that's not, two that are the same. These two wide pairs are going to go on the sides. So I'll put those in my sides pile. Now I have two more pairs here. These two are the same and these two are the same. These are also going to go on the sides. I added some trim to the side walls at the last minute, so to speak. So I ended up with a few more of these kind of long skinny pieces than I really would love to have, but they really just make it look authentic and cool with all that like trim detail. So again, just bear with me, it'll be worth it, I promise. So now this one has the sides here, the ends are kind of shaped like this. And this one goes on your entryway. So we'll put that in the entryway pile. And then this one is going to go on that horizontal middle trim. So I have these two. That's the top trim. This is the middle trim. These are both the horizontal trim that goes up here and also up here. So that's these two. This one goes here. And this shorter one that's left will go on your entryway. And then these remaining ones go up here on this trim. Phew. Okay, we sorted them out. We're doing great. As long as we're sorting, I'm going to go ahead and put the vellum pieces where they're going to be going. So let's just get even more organized here, and then we can start the fun part. So this technically goes here. Okay, so I've got my top trim, my dormer pile, my middle trim, my entryway front area with the actual entryway pile here. Got my sides, and then off camera I've got my base still, and my top and my bottom are still up over there, so we're good with that. Let's put these green guys where they're gonna go. I have my swag, put my swag there, and then I have three pieces. This forms the front door and the front step, so that's clearly the entryway pile. And then I have my vellum. So the largest piece is going to be part of the entryway. These two small ones are dormer window panes. Then we have three like this. It's for these three windows here, 1, 2, 3. Then I have these left. This will be here, and this will be the front door, which will be here. So, I don't know, would you like to start with kind of the most challenging part first to get it out of the way? Or do you like to warm up with some easier parts first? I'm not sure. I don't want to overanalyze where to start because I'm not sure it really matters. But perhaps we'll take on the dormers first, since they're the most dimensional and therefore the most complex. So here's my list of steps. Create dormers. Create the dormers will be the next step. Okay. So I'll put my entryway aside, as well as this trim. Oops. Okay. Okay. I've got my pile here. And I feel like I'm so concerned with doing this in the best order that I'm like forgetting that it's fun, and it is fun. I'm just like, if I goof up and I do this in the order that's not best, and then I have to start over, cut everything out again, I'm catastrophizing a little bit and worrying too much, but it's like a valid concern. So it is fun though. Okay, there's 2 sets of each of these. I'm not sure this angle is great. Okay, I feel like my camera doesn't like this like green or something. It's making it like hard to see the white, and it looks kind of golden. I don't know. It's always something. But okay, so we have this. We have these side trim pieces, and then we have 2 sets of the windows. And these are going to go together the same way. So I'll show one of them, but it's going to be the same for this pile here. So this is going to go onto this. So we'll fold these back. Just like that. These we can fold towards you. These 2 can go this way. You can always change the direction as you go of your fold. Like this. These go in. And if you have a bone folder, you can use it to sharply crease these if you want. I think I will do that. Okay, let's see. Here's my bone folder. There we go. Not necessary, but mine just needed a little extra something. Something. So now this will go this way. I have a mix of solid score lines and dashed cut lines for folding. I was actually having trouble with my machine scoring, my Cricut Maker. I got a Cricut Maker 4, and I was excited to try the scoring feature because I thought since it's a brand new machine, I bet it'll score nicely, and it was having trouble. So I went back to my dashed cut lines, which work well. They work perfectly well. So that's fine. Just a little disappointing, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted. So this is going to just go right inside like that. But first, let's flip it over and glue the vellum. We'll just glue that right here. You can use whatever your favorite paper crafting glue is. The Scotch Quick Dry I still like, but this precision tip is like extra tiny on the Barely Art Precision Craft glue. So you just want a tiny little bit and glue that right on. And we'll just glue these one at a time. I'll start with the bottom. So just take your time and line it up as best you can. Give it a chance to dry. And then we'll glue some more of them into place. In no particular order, we'll just glue the rest of those sides like this. So we're getting there, you know, we're almost past the most challenging part of this whole thing, and we just started. So I think that kind of makes me like loosen up a little bit and remember that this is a fun project. I really like this building. I really like the style. I think the history of old buildings is fascinating. The history and the mystery, because sometimes there's not a lot of readily available info about the history of specific buildings. And it makes you wonder what happened. What's the scoop? And I feel like anytime you're in a cute town that's kind of either has been restored or could stand some TLC, either way, I think it's so fun. Usually you're having like an adventure, whether it's a impromptu adventure or like a little getaway or going out for lunch, out for tea, out for some shopping. I recently went to Galena, Illinois with my sister back in September, and it's full of historic buildings like this. And it was so neat to just walk around and explore, do some cute shopping, some delicious lunching, catching up with my sister. So tell me if you have any historic buildings near you, or if you've been to anything that was cool. This building I heavily was influenced to design it based on a building that's in Franklin, Tennessee. It's on the main drag in that town. And there's a lot of really cool history to be learned. I dabbled slightly into the history of their downtown and how it was restored. And this building is reminiscent, heavily reminiscent of a building that's in Franklin, Tennessee, but it's kind of only like half of it and very simplified, obviously. But I fell in love with the arched face top with the dormers, as one does. So this is going to go on like this. I could glue it here first, but then by the time I make my way over to the other side, it might not really reach if we're off by a little bit. So to be safe, I'm going to start by gluing these two here. So those two are glued. Let's glue this. And this. All right. So there's the structure of our dormer. I can put this bottom into place here with these two. Like that. So now this just goes right on top and it kind of covers up the pointy parts, so it makes it look more arched than it really is. And that just goes right on the front there. That just gets glued right on. But first, it's time for the ink. I just got a new set of these ink pads. So I'm going to use this light brown, and hopefully it's not too saturated. Since it's a brand new ink pad, it's like raring to go, which is fine. So I'm just going to lightly brush it around the edges a little bit to define the edges and kind of give it like an aged, weathered look a little bit. Like so. It's a subtle touch, but it brings out the edges nicely. And then for this, we can do a little, these edges. The top will be hidden, so we don't need to do that. But on this, I will go ahead and do some inking here. Just like that. So when you glue this on, you just want to make sure that it's covering up that top point there and that it's centered. Like, not like this. Like, not down here, but up here so that it's covering up the top point. Oops. Looking good. And this will really seal the deal. Oh yeah. I would say that's the best part of this project. The hardest, but not too hard. When you break it down step by step. Ain't no thing, as they say. No big deal. So, like, so cool. Phew. See, that wasn't so bad. So I'm just going to put some glue on these bottom parts here. And center this. Just like that. There's a border around it. You want to make sure these can still fold forward. And that just creates even more of a curve. So there's that. That looks awesome. It's going to be really fun when we pop it through the front here. But first, you can go ahead and make the other one the same exact way. So if you need to pause the video, you can always press the space bar on your keyboard if you're watching it on your computer. Handy tip, if you didn't know. But go ahead and make your second dormer. I've got both of mine going here. And then we'll move on to the next step. So as long as we have this piece out and these out, I will just do some inking on these. I'm going to use my light brown again. And I'll just get a little on these 4 long rectangles. Just like this. And then on this one, I will also put some here. Just like that. Then for this, if you want, you could probably get away with this gray, I'm thinking. It's kind of hard to see. I had mentioned another set of ink pads. You could probably use the dark brown if you have this set. I also have this set that has the black in it. These are both linked from these are both linked below in this video, basically. If you click through to the supply list, you can click through to these Color Petal ink pads from Amazon. I mostly use the brown, the dark brown, the light brown, sometimes the black. I wish the pale colors showed up well on dark paper, but for that I use Ranger Distress ink, which we'll get to in a bit. Oops. So this will be going here, and these will be going like this on the sides, but I don't want to glue them on yet because I want it to be curved nicely. So for now, we can just set this aside. For our next portion, we're going to assemble the entryway. So here's the pile that I had made. So here is my entryway, the trim here. There's two layers to this arch. There's this, these two weird looking pieces, and then the vellum, the doorway and the swag, and then the tea set. So let's start by just folding this along its score lines. Pretty straightforward. I'm gonna glue these into place first. This one's gonna go here, and this one will be going over here. So I'll do this like that. So essentially, this will be like this on the side. And like that. I'm going to use these two tabs to glue this on. 1, 2. glue that up there. This will be going like this. But first, we can put this here. Oh, and I'm silly because this goes like this. It has a slight valley fold there. Okay, so now this one, goes here. So we can glue this like that. So these we can go ahead and glue like this, and they support the whole thing basically. They're in the front. What am I saying? They're supportive. They're so supportive. So we'll go like this, and it's gonna butt up against the crease there to help you line it up. So that should be parallel, perpendicular. As long as this back edge is straight so it can get glue. It's supposed to help just make it a more stable little area without getting too crazy. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's okay. I'm a little distracted. Okay. Then this whole thing can just fold up and boom. So next, let's do the vellum and the teapot tea set. First, you want to glue the vellum down. I just goofed up and I'm refilming this. So first goes your vellum. And then your tea set. this. So next we can, this can be glued here, and this goes on the top, and these go on, but I think it looks really cool if you add some ink first. So I will grab my light brown and ink it up on these. Pieces. Again, it's just a subtle touch, but it really brings out the edges, which is a really good thing for this trim. It's kind of tedious because it's so skinny, so it's hard to hold on to it while you're getting at it, but well worth it. And the more random it is, the better. So if there's like uneven spots, that's perfect. So these ink pads are cool. The shape of it makes it easy to get into the little tight areas. And this one. So this is definitely a little tedious, but not difficult. And if you want, you can even pause this and take your time more. I feel like if I was doing this and not filming, I would probably take my time more. But I'm like, oh, I don't want this video to be too long. Like my last structure video, I did a ton of embossing, a ton of inking, it was the Cider Hill Market. I was like, you know what? I'm going to show everything. I'm going to show literally every single little tiny thing. I'm going to emboss it. I'm going to take my time. And it ended up being a 6-hour video, which is insane. So I'm just always kind of torn between how much detail do I show versus how much would you like to just kind of pause it while you do some stuff. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'm always kind of back and forth all over the place. I will say though, some of my older videos from like 2013, 2014, and more than that even. But anyway, some of those videos I skimmed over so much that it was like I skimmed over too much back then. So just always trying to find the happy medium of the best way to do it. So do let me know what you think. In a perfect world, I would maybe be slightly chattier while I'm doing repetitive stuff, but then I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. So it's all good. In a perfect world, I would make one of these for each like season and month, just to see how it could look with different themed papers. I think that would be really cool. But it'd be hard to get anything else done. You know what? I am just going to add a little ink to this. Just to bring that out. I feel like it gets kind of lost if it's not brought out with some edges. Okay. Okay. Let's put some glue on these two bottom tabs here. Even if they don't really make contact properly, we're just gonna close this whole back up with glue on all these tabs, and then we'll just fold it closed. So just do your best to line it up nicely. The most important part is that you're having fun. And then B, that the back is like flat enough. You want to be able to glue it on to the face of your shop. And you're good. You're doing great. I would also like to remind you that even if it's not perfect. I don't know why I just said it like that. I'm getting silly now. I think now that we're past the hardest parts, now I'm just going to be silly. Well, see, this, I didn't do that perfectly. And I'm just going to try to like let it go and just go with it. It adds character and personality. And, sometimes structures have parts that are just aged. We're just going to say that with time, it has aged a little bit, and it kind of came apart over the years throughout history. That's what we'll say. I wanted to remind you to just, try to go easy on yourself if something seems to not be quite perfect. And I think I'll take my own advice and just say it's fine. I have a friend who recently made one of my projects. She made my church, and she thought that it came out terribly in like 10 different ways, and I thought that I disagreed with her because it looked great. And I feel like she probably still thinks that I was just trying to be nice, but at the end of the day, she made an amazing Christmas church out of paper. It looked really cool. So it's kind of hard to convince somebody that you're not just being nice with something like that, but I truly think that it looks great. Shelby, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean it. I said it and I meant it. Whoa. Okay. This can go here. Pep talks. Pep talks are a good skill. Genuine pep talks for yourself. Huge. Always trying to work on my self pep talk skills. Because, who's going to give you a better pep talk than yourself? You got to be good. You got to be good to yourself. That goes there. This goes here. Boop. Especially for those around you. You know, if you're not being kind to yourself, how can you truly, I don't know what I'm saying, but the older I get, the more I realize that being kind, truly kind to myself is an important skill. I think just when I think that I understand what it means to be kind to myself, I find new perspectives on it that seem a little earth-shattering. I don't know why I'm talking about this right now. I guess just being kind about making a boo-boo on your project, I guess, got me on a tear. But also being exposed to people who are the opposite, it's just so detrimental, even to people around you. If you can't be kind to yourself, it really affects people that you might care about quite a bit. Okay, this is going to go here, flush with the bottom right there inside. I have been redecorating a reading nook in my bedroom in an effort to be kinder to myself, I suppose. You could associate those two. So I have been into reading this cute book that I got at Barnes & Noble at the Starbucks counter. I think it's called Murder at Holly House, and it's like a Christmas, like little murder mystery kind of a deal, which I have not read anything like that in a very long time, if ever. And it's set in England, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So every night I've been sitting down with my tea and my kitty cat and reading my book. So do you do any reading? Actual reading of a book, Kindle or tablet reading perhaps, or audiobook listening? Talk to me, tell me about it. So this front door here was like this. I just folded it. We're gonna glue it. Shocker. Okay, there we go. And I definitely am going to ink this with some ink. Could ink it first, or I can glue it first. Inking it first would probably be a good idea. So this will go right there. I'm going to use my dark brown ink. I forgot this one's brand new, so it's like super saturated. All right, that is a pretty cool effect, even though that's more ink than I was planning on. I'm feeling it. So I could go ahead and glue that down. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, cute, so cute. I'm gonna take my light brown and I'm gonna hit it at the bottom, and the edges of this top here, these sides. Oops. Maybe a little heavier at the bottom, like some real aging going on. Looks really cute. Might as well put this step together. Let's just go ahead and do it. Here we go. Okay, sides, everything just gets folded. It's just like a dimensional long rectangle, like so. Sorry about it being hard to see green on green. Let's see here. Okay. I can't wait to see if anyone makes this with a different theme or with this theme or whatever. Do you feel like it's a little late days for Christmas? I think there's 18 days until Christmas still. And then this, depending on who you ask, the season does extend past the 25th, but some people like to wrap it up the day after Christmas. Like one of my sisters, she puts away her tree and everything like the next day. But then my mom, on the other hand, leaves everything out through mid-January, like Epiphany. How about you? I'm kind of like, sometimes I go both directions, depending on how much time and energy I have, I guess, to tackle putting stuff away. I don't know. Okay, there's the front step. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Brown ink. Perhaps optional, but lovely. And, ooh. Oh my gosh, that is a lot. This just got crazy. We just got crazy here. Well, it's good to remember because I do recommend these ink pads and then I kind of forget after I've had them for years. I forget that when you first get the ink pad, it's very saturated, which is fine. That looks cool, but you might not be anticipating that effect. That's a good reminder. This is a very distressed front step. It's seen a lot of action over the years. Okay. Since we're on the topic of the front entryway here, here's how I did the swag. I just used my fingernail, my thumbnail, to press a crease into each leaf. It's kind of the perfect tool, just like built right into your hand, potentially. I mean, we don't all have identical nails, but I mean, I don't know. Is that crazy? It kind of makes it curve a little bit too. I'm going to save my sanity and not even bother with the inking, I guess. Although, you know, you could. Depends on how independent of a crafter are you? Will you just like go rogue and try a technique, not even sure if it's going to pan out or not? Just go for it. Like unbridled creativity. or do you like to follow step by step? You know, sometimes we can all go in both directions with stuff like that, of course. Sometimes you see a sample that's been made and you like it so much that you want to know exactly how to recreate it. I understand that. Or sometimes you're like, I like that, but I'm going to make mine, you know, for whatever, totally different color scheme. It's fun to see how you make it, whether you do it the same way or differently. I'm also going to pinch these a little bit. just to make it look a little more random and therefore lifelike. Next, I'm going to take this random red twine that I have and do my little preschool style bow that I learned when I was 4, and I still do it the same way when I tie a bow. Just like this. I just do the 2 bunny ears and I tie them in a knot. I know. I've tried to do it other ways and I don't know. It brings me security to just know that some things can just stay the same like that, like my bow tying strategy. Okay. So there's my bow. I'm gonna hot glue it right onto the front there. Okay. There we go. Of course, it's stringy. And just put that right on the front. Oops. Next, I'm going to put some little berries on it and then just leave it off to the side so this can dry. I happen to have platinum pearl here. I didn't really have like a plain pearl. So, I mean, this looks cute. You could do this, you could do red, you could do white, ivory, silver, gold. But just having some little like berry looking things. And they don't have to be on these little circles. You can put them just randomly. Probably even like clustered would be a good idea. That one's way bigger, but just a nice little touch, cute little swag. Like anything mini is cute and adorable, enchanting. So the fact that it's a mini swag is fun. It looks kind of snow-kissed a little bit. So there's that. So even, you know, whatever you want to do with that, whether you want to use those or not, these are liquid pearls by Ranger, but also Nuvo drops can be cool, or Viva Decor pearl pen is another one. For our next portion, we're going to make the horizontal trim, and there's 2 of them. Here's the top horizontal trim and the lower horizontal trim. So we'll put these together. First, I will do a little inking on their strips. I used to love using Colorbox inks. They were available wherever craft supplies were sold. I used to get them at scrapbooking stores or Michael's. I don't know about Hobby Lobby, but then I believe the owners retired and they just shut it down. But they were ink pad sets that were kind of similar to this, where you could pull out the different colors. And they were just perfect for this. So obviously, instead of doing stamping with them, which maybe you could still do, I don't really do much stamping, so I don't know. But for a while there was not really an alternative that I was familiar with. I kind of tried some things, but I just kept using the ones I had until they were just completely like crumbling. I still have them in a bag I was like, should I throw those away now or... But I was really glad when they came out with these on Amazon. They seem like they're just directly from China, I'm assuming. I don't know who came up with the idea, but I'm glad they did. I just have a feeling they were like designed overseas too, only because maybe just the way they're labeled doesn't seem like a native English speaker has written the label, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm curious, and I'm just full of conjecture about what could be the backstory. But at the end of the day, I'm just kind of glad that there's a replacement, and I can't help but be curious about whose idea this was, because they're great. There's a lot of different sets of them, and I am appreciative that they exist. This, I think, is the most helpful, universal, useful set here. I don't remember if this is set, I think it's 1004 or 1044. It's linked below. I want to say it's like $10 or something. I could be wrong. I just that's one of those bits of information that I filed under, like in the back brain files, so I'm not sure. More or less like $10. Not bad. And I had a set that I used for like 3 years until it finally just got kind of, it was a little hard to use this one because I had just like used it up. So if you're interested, you can find the link below. Tell me if you have any other inking techniques. Some of you guys out there, some of you crafters do other inking that I need to get more familiar with some of the other techniques out there. So tell me what you like to use. I would be most appreciative of your insights. If you got any go-to products or techniques for adding ink or anything like that to your crafting. So that's that. And this is this. My chalk. I'm trying something new with my chalkboard here because I thought maybe I could speed up my editing process if I just totally skip the title screens that I have been making. I make title screens in Canva and then I drop them into my video at the proper time. But I thought, you know what? I don't mind making the screens so much, but when I sit there and I drop them into the video, that kind of takes a little while to make sure I'm putting them in the right spot. And I was like, if I just write it on a chalkboard, then I kind of can exempt myself from the whole title screen thing. But I'll still put the shortcuts, the timestamps, so you can jump ahead. Okay, so this long tab on the end here, you can tell this is the tab because it is curved. The corner is rounded here and here. So that means this is the tab that we'll put the glue on to close this up. Okay. This is semi-tricky, but I'm lining it up edge to edge. And we do want this to be lined up as nicely as possible. so that it lays flat on our project. So that is pretty good. I think I'm just gonna let that sit so it doesn't slide out of place if I mess with it. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one here. It's got the rounded corners, so you can tell that this is the tab for gluing. Oops. Okay. So there's that. Let's go back to this one and close up the ends. So I don't want these to be folded too far in so that it can make contact when I close it up. I'll just do some dots. I guess I have to hold that a little longer for it to take hold. For Pete's sake, now that I'm a mom of a kindergartner, I say things like, "Oh, for Pete's sake." Like, you know, that I'm mildly, like, I'm still amused yet exasperated if I'm saying, "Oh, for Pete's sake." Because what I really want to say would not be appropriate. So therefore, "Oh, for Pete's sake" really just fits the bill now for me. And it makes me laugh because it's a funny phrase that I would have never said before. Not that I was swearing like a sailor before or anything, but, you know, for Pete's sake. It's like something Ned Flanders would say. Oh, gosh. Okay. Usually it's when an inanimate object is not cooperating. Okay. All right. That's fabulous. Let's just let that simmer for a minute. And we'll do the same with this thing. Okay. Okay. All right. We'll just make sure that's gonna stay in place. And I hope it's really, really hard to make something like this flat on the back, which is That was my main concern when I designed both of these long horizontal trim pieces. I was like, gosh, every time I have something like that, even when it's lined up so perfectly, it still is just like not really flat. But we're gonna do our best. Even if I have to use a hot glue gun to put that on, so what? It's fine. It'll be fine. It's kind of annoying how that happens, but I'm gonna let it go like Elsa. Okay, so this is gonna go here. This is the widest strip. And then one of these will go right here, right up there. Let's just go ahead and do that. And then this is going to go right in the middle, down below. Right there. There it is. All right. And then this will go right up at the top. Okay. You could butt it right up against the top, or if you want to just drag it down slightly for even more like trim interest, you could. Either way is great. And then this. So as you can see, this is how it goes, where this is the front. And this goes right on the front, right in the middle, just like that. So this side is flat and the front is jutting out. Okay, well, I was gonna ink those, but maybe first I'll make these guys and then I'll ink it all. So 2 of them are smaller, 2 of them are larger. So these little parts just add a cute detail. They kind of look like they're holding up the trim. I'm certain there's an architectural word for them. So all 4 of them go together the same way. These 2 are just a little bit narrower, but they're the same shape. So I'll show one here, and then we'll just, if you want to pause to do all 4 of them, you can. So we just fold that over, and you have this. So you'll end up with 4 of these, Two are a little wider, like I said, and you're just going to be going right underneath the trim like this. Okay, here's my 4 little things. The 2 wider ones go on the outside, but we're not putting them on yet, but we will. If you are inking along with me, then we could add some ink to them. Just a little here. The top and the back won't be visible, so they definitely need a little weathering, I think. It's a nice touch. And then also underneath this, on the sides there. Definitely up on top. Not so much the back, but sides, yes. Just like that. And same with this guy. Okay, went a little heavy there, but we're good. Okay. Now we can put these aside and move on to putting together the front. Wall 1 is the step we're on now. Let's put together the front. I'm not sure about my chalkboard thing. It's a little hard to make it legible, but I've committed. I've committed now. Just kidding. Okay. So I think I'll start. This is so easy peasy. Now we're in like the home stretch of this whole thing. Everything that's left is straightforward, simple. So yay. I love this paper. This beautiful holly paper. It looks so Christmassy. I'm gonna add some brown edges because I like that touch too. It's gonna look vintage and finished off nicely. Creates like a vignette look to the whole shape. A little tedious, but worth it. Tedious, but worth it. So I keep saying that today. Seems like a life lesson somehow. It looks really good. It's very subtle, but I like the effect quite a bit. Then that's gonna go right on the front. So there's a nice even border around each window hole. But the ink is a little wet still, so I'm going to fold these over while I'm waiting. So it can go like this. You don't have to use the bone folder, but I just want to give it a better crease. And this. Just like that. I do want to add some ink, shocker, to these. So I will. I'm really just trying to get the edges, but I'm kind of getting it all over, which is also fine. But I could probably slow down a little bit. So back to the topic of historic buildings. Tell me if where you live has some nearby historic buildings, or maybe you even live in an older home. Or do you have like a cute downtown area? Let us know in the comments. I grew up in a town with a cute downtown in the suburbs of Chicago, the western suburbs. And it seems like pretty much all the suburbs of Chicago have cute downtowns with like a main street and a train that runs through, typically cute shops and restaurants. Specifically the like the Burlington Northern Santa Fe train line that runs from Chicago out to Aurora is where I grew up, and each of the little towns along that train line have cute downtowns. Brookfield, LaGrange, Western Springs, Hinsdale, Riverside. Oh, and of course Brookfield has the amazing zoo. The amazing zoo in Brookfield. So much fun. They have cool Christmas lights to go see this time of year. I have to renew my membership and go check them out soon. Are you doing any fun Christmas things or holiday things? Kindle Market, perhaps? Craft fair, those are always fun. Christmas craft fairs. My brown ink really got all over the place, but it's okay. As long as I don't smudge it on my vellum, then I'll be okay. I'm gonna lose it if I smudge my vellum. Just kidding. Okay, let's go ahead and glue that on. Seems to be reversible. And when I am gluing vellum on, I always try to do a very, very thin line, a small amount, even like tiny dots. Because if you do more than that, it can wrinkle it up. And then certainly the world doesn't end, but you know, trying not to have wrinkly windows is usually good, but if you do, it's fine. Oh. And this can go here. This is empty because the entryway has the vellum for it, but this hole allows the light to shine through still. So now we can glue our 3 windows on. They're identical, of course. And right about now, this super small precision tip is very handy. Although I would also use my Scotch quick dry glue don't put glue on the middle. You don't want to glue onto the vellum if you don't have to. It's fine if you do, but let's not. You don't have to have that small of a precision tip to glue this on. I've done many like that with the thicker nozzle, the Scotch Quick Dry. Mine's almost empty, so you can still get very precise with this. With that one, it's just a matter of being precise. Also, art glitter glue is very popular. I'm gonna have to buy some more Scotch glue, and I'm curious to see if it's available at Michael's and or Hobby Lobby, my two local crafting stores, because I've heard talk of it being hard to find, which would really rock my world because I've been using it for like 16 years, maybe longer. So don't take my Scotch Quick Dry. I mean, I guess change is inevitable, so I'll be okay. But, you know, it's been my go-to glue for so long. I'm not prepared to navigate the world without Scotch Quick Dry tacky glue. Okay. So this, you want to center it, and if there's just like a hair of a border around the top of the window, then you know it's in the quote-unquote right spot. Just basically up there at the top is perfect. Okay. That looks so cute. I love it. I'm gonna put the top of this wall in place. But first I'm gonna move these dormers and these strips out of the way here. And I'm not gonna glue this on yet because I want it to be curved. If you want to kind of start training it in the right direction, you can do this. It's a very gentle curve, so it's not like life or death, but it's going to help if you want to do that. I don't know how I got this so messy. So before we glue this on, if you want to do this a little bit, you can. You don't have to. Okay, so this could have just been all one piece, but I broke it into two pieces so that I didn't have to shrink the whole entire project, because this is too big to fit on one piece of 12 by 12 paper. So it's in two pieces. but it could have just been one. It could have been one piece. However, I would have had to shrink the entire structure down to fit this on one piece of paper. But now that we glued it, it is one. Okay. The question is, do I want to go ahead and put my dormers in? I think I can. I don't see any reason not to. This is certainly a satisfying part of this project. It looks so cool. Love that. And those kind of force it to curve. So now it's just a matter of gluing these down. They just all get glued down. Pretty easy. Pretty straightforward. Just possibly slightly tedious, kind of like one or two at a time, but definitely worth it. I think this Barely Arts glue might take a little bit longer to take hold than the Scotch glue. So yeah, there's that. I just said it. I said it. It's a thing. Oh, my inky fingers are smudging. It's kind of not really cute. Just try to keep my inky smudges on the inside of my house here. Okay, we are rounding the bend. These are straight, couple straight, it's just straight edges, a straight edge. They're all straight edges, so it makes it very literally straightforward, because I'm all about making it look really cool, but except for these gross smudges, I'm all about making it look cool but still easy enough to be fun. Because if it's too complicated or if it's annoying, then I'd be out of business. You know what I'm saying? I want to stay in business, so I don't want to make it annoying to make something. So I hope that you're pleasantly surprised by how easy it was to put your dormer together and to put it in your shop. Let me know what you think. It's important to me. Okay, we can go ahead and pop this one in the same exact way. Okay, I'm wrapping up my second dormer here. If you need to pause, go for it. There it is. Looking good. Now we can go ahead and glue this. And you want to make sure you're tucking it so it's meeting those straight edges down there. That is so cute. It really sets them off, having the dark color up top. But I have a feeling it would look pretty cool with really anything. If you're doing like a lighter color pastel, like a spring theme, or like an everyday pastel look, or an Easter kind of vibe, having something pastel up top, still gonna look really pretty. So I truly think any theme that you want to have, if you want to make this later in the, well, I was gonna say later in the year, but I guess it would be earlier in the year if it was springtime. Essentially, whatever theme you want to give yours, I think it's gonna look amazing, and I can't wait to see it. I might say that often, but I mean it. Okay. Super cool. I love it. And then these trim pieces, I am going to gently curve them, and I'm not going to glue them on yet, but I will just gently curve them like that. And we're going to save them. We're going to save them until almost the whole thing is together, because they kind of hide the edge a little bit, possibly. Like, they're not really intended to, but they can be used to kind of finish it off more nicely. So we'll wait on that, but this is going to be going down here. We'll also wait on that. And for now, we'll move on to our next step, which is assemble the other 3 walls. So I have my pile here of the side walls and the back wall. The back wall is the simplest. It's just got this panel and the door. It's kind of hard to see it with this busy patterned paper, but that's easy. It's easy peasy. These 2 are essentially like this. So this actually goes up in the top corner. So there's just a super tiny border around the top and the side. It's a very thin border, but an even border. So going all the way down the side and all the way across the top. And then, I just want you to see how there's a thin border. And then along the bottom, there's a much thicker space, and on the sides. So I'm just gonna start by doing some inking on this. Oh no! On this green shape, even though it's kind of hard to see it, but it's just such a nice effect that I have to do it. I can't stop. Okay, so even though that's kind of wet and I don't want to get it all over myself, but I'm just going to take one for the team and go ahead and now I should be using my Scotch glue because I don't need precision. But this one's handy and my other one is almost empty. So, you know, that's where I'm at. Hopefully that's enough glue. Okay, it's good. I'm gonna flip this over on my scrap paper here. Okay, I grabbed this element. This is a 3x4 rectangle, although mine looks a little like not straight. I didn't cut this with my cutting machine. I just chopped it with my guillotine cutter, my paper cutter, because I cut it out of a sheet of cut-aparts that came with my paper collection. And instead of cutting it with my machine, I just chopped it, which I like using these cut-apart elements. I feel like I don't really see anyone else doing much with them in my, at least in my world of what I see online. Although, to be fair, when I log into Facebook, I don't really see a lot of other designers' work, which I'm okay with, because I don't want to accidentally, like, subconsciously copy somebody, honestly, anyways. So tell me if you like using these 3x4 cut-apart elements. A couple different paper companies include them in their collections of paper, and I think it's always a nice design to incorporate into like a gift bag or whatever. But I haven't really seen a lot of you guys using them. So tell me if I'm alone on that, or what do you think? Okay, so this goes on top of this, which goes here. But to bring out the edges, I'm going to ink them, and then I'll glue it on. And then there's two thicker ones and two thinner ones. They're just rectangles. I'm gonna take one set and put them over here. This will just go right on top of this, and it'll just go right here. And then there's another rectangle that will be going there, but I don't see it. That's very strange. Okay. Wow. It was right in front of me. It's these. That was really weird. I was thinking I was going to have to recut something, and it was literally right there. So we have another set. I'm going to put this small with the big and set it over there. Small on top of the big. And that's going to go down here as the trim. So we've got trim, trim, trim. I'm going to add some ink to them and then put them on. Oopsies. Of course, I have to ink all the layers. But both of the side walls have the same white trim, and I added this later on in my designing of this, not only to cover up some like unfinished parts, but just because it just needed it. Especially once it's lit up, it was kind of showing, some of the tabs were showing through after it was lit up on the sides, and I thought, okay, time for some extra trim. And here we are. So this will go right down here. There's like a hair of a border around the sides and the bottom. then same with this. This has an even border all the way around it. But first, let's glue this once we ink it. No, you haven't lost the sound. I'm just not saying anything. I love it when I make myself laugh. Okay, there we go. Oh. Okay, and this, we'll just put it here. Yay. Lovely, lovely and straightforward. Finished off nicely. So the other wall is essentially identical as far as everything goes, except the only difference is obviously it's got this rectangular cutout, which is no biggie. We're just going to toss our vellum on the back side. Going to throw some ink on this before I glue it down. I'm tossing and throwing. I'm throwing and tossing. Just like this. Now I'm swiping. Throwing, tossing, swiping. I'm trying to vary my verbs to keep it interesting, not monotonous. I don't want you to get bored. Okay. Okay, that's a little tricky, but works. Okay. I will fold this and this and glue this. There's a slightly smaller, or there's a larger border at the bottom here by design. I did that on purpose. I meant to do that. It's just a little bit more there at the bottom. Okay, so now you can go ahead and put your trim pieces on, just like we did over here, except it's a mirror image. So we've got the double layer curve, the double layer skinny, and the double layer wide at the bottom. I skipped ahead a little bit, so if you need to pause, do it. Just adding my trim pieces to my other side wall here. then the back. I went ahead and did some light inking on these two pieces. Okay. So there's my back wall, looking good. Next, I do believe we will glue the side walls onto the front wall. Or perhaps I should make the base. Here we are at step number 7. Make the base. So this is a support piece. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it goes inside. It won't be visible, so this will go like this. Then we have these numbered pieces, 1, 3, 2, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2, 3, and 4 are actually the same, but I was like, I'm going to go ahead and number them anyway, even though there's technically no wrong order, because this one's the only unique piece and then these are the same. So no matter how you glue them together, it'll be correct. But if you want to do them in order, I get it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Then we can glue them together side to side. And then we can loop it around. And close it up. So the sides and the back are the same. And then the front has the step in the front. So it goes like this. So that means this one's the top, and this one is the bottom. So what I will do is glue the top on first, because whichever one you do first is easiest to make it nice. So technically the easiest way to do this would be to cut out an extra one of these and glue it on the inside first. But to save paper, we're gonna do this. It's a little more tedious, but it'll save two whole sheets of cardstock. So gluing it inside is much easier than gluing it like this, but this works too. Oopsies. So basically we're just gluing this on like one tab at a time. I have to keep flipping it around so I can see. Now I'm just going to go for it with the rest of the tabs all at once. Oh gosh, that's really bad. I did a bad job with that. I don't normally say that about myself, but you know, it calls it as I see it. It's very off. Okay. There we go. Okay. Might have to reapply some glue there. Everything's fine. Okay. So now I'm going to put this right in the center. It doesn't need to be perfectly aligned, but just generally in the center. It's going to be fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there, people. I just need to get this base together, put this house on it, put the house together. Oh, shop. I mean the shop. Okay. This is mildly trickier, but it's going to be all right. So technically, I always toy with the idea of making this part where it's like, first you glue a like border around on the inside to hold it into place, and then you put this on. But I'm like, I don't think we all want to use like more sheets of paper. So this works. This definitely works. It's just kind of like, it's hard because it's sealed off, so you really can't like get in to adjust it. You just have to do your best. But you know, if this whole thing was like cut out and then you could reach in and like adjust it, like pinch it and adjust it, technically that would be more accurate. But then again, we're talking about a whole other sheet of paper probably. So I don't know. At this point, on the bottom, I think that I should have been doing this for the last 16 years. And you too. I think you should take a pen and write your name and the year on the bottom. Just because it's special. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, my grandma did ceramics, and my mom too. And she would always write her first initial, and I'm just going to write my first name in 2025. Just because, even though there's a big smear, that smear glue is there too. Memories of smearing glue. Okay, here's the thing. Now I'm going to take my distress ink and picket fence. So I would love it if I could just like, I mean, that's kind of too yellow, but if I had a lighter one like that, that would be cool, but you can't see it. That pigment ink, you can't see it because this is, I don't quite understand this. Oh, it says it's pigment ink too. Oh, you can't read that. This is also pigment ink, so I don't know why this shows up and that one doesn't. That's where I'm like, okay, they lost me. I got lost along the way with whatever makes this different, but you can see it on the black. And I did learn this from Carol Strebler. Strebler or Strebler? Carol, please tell. In my head, I've always been saying Strebler, but I could be totally wrong. She mentioned that this worked, and I was like, hallelujah, praise the Lord, because I no longer have access to the color box. They're retired, they're gone. They had a chalk ink. I thought you had to use chalk ink for this effect, but apparently this works beautifully. So this just adds some distress and kind of looks like snowy and frosty. If it was a Halloween project, it would look ghostly and cobwebby. Oh boy, mine's like not even staying down, but it's okay. I love this effect. And this is a dauber. I got it in a package of several of them. You can be as meticulous as you want with this part. I'm just kind of like slapping it on there. The exposure of this, my phone, is being very strange. I always use my phone to film this part, the assembly part, and it does not like this like green and black. Maybe it's some kind of like green screen sort of a situation. I don't know, but it looks weird. I hope it's still easy to follow along. It's not the general quality I like to offer you guys here, whatever's going on. with my exposure and stuff. But there we go. There's the base, and it's inked. It looks cool. Thank you, Carol, for the tip. Ranger, Distress Ink, Picket Fence, Tim Holtz, acid free. Okay, next. Okay, I had a hard time making that look nice, but now we're gonna put it all together. So first I'm going to put together, I'm going to glue the sides onto the front. So I'll fold these out of the way. And then first I'll glue this here. I'm gonna anchor this up here. Now I'm gonna, you could glue these down one at a time or kind of do them all at once. As long as you're kind of, check it out from the front and make sure it's not like all wacky as you go. Oh, that looks good. Once the light is in it, it'll kind of shine through there to accentuate any like misaligned area. But that's where we can use these side trim pieces to kind of extend past just slightly to hide anything. So don't stress. Just don't do it. Now I'm going to put this side on. Oh, we have a kitty. We have a kitty. Hi, Winnie. There she is. Hello, say hi. Winnie's like 14 or 15 right now, approximately, based on our best estimates. I adopted her when she was 3. She was estimated to be 3 in 2014. So, by my calculations, I believe, I could be wrong. There's many ways I could be wrong on that, you know, but she's probably like 15. Hi. Oh, okay. All right. I know. She's like, sit down so I can cuddle with you. No. She's like, yep. Yep. Grumbly. She's grumbly. And you're making the whole tripod bounce up and down. Not cool. Not cool, Winnie. Oh, gosh. That's cute when you're frisky. I support your friskiness. But you're making people seasick. Potentially. Hi. Who's our little calabi? Winnie's a calabi because she's a calico, but she has stripes like a tabby. So that makes her a calabi. Yes, it does. It does. Winnie's not a fan of other cats or other animals either, by the way, in case you were wondering. She gets very upset when there's another cat outside or even a dog visiting outside. She gets mad, super mad. Like raving, body slamming the patio door mad. So, she's definitely an only pet, which is fine. She's all we need. How could we even think about having another pet? That would just be insulting and upsetting. Okay, so it's hard to lay this on a flat edge without like hiding it from your view. So I'm doing my best here. Let me see what I got going on. What do I have going on? That was actually pretty easy. Oh, that's nice, but you're gonna have to go over there. Excuse me. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna have to take a break. This is getting out of hand. Okay. She's been deposited on the floor. We'll see how long that lasts. I'm missing something now, I think. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, let's see. So now this, hold on a second. So at this point, I'm going to put this. This just goes right along the edge, but if you want to shift it past the edge just a hair, I think that's a great idea. Just like that. You can see that it's lined up, but then I'm just going to shift it over just a little bit, and that'll hide any little whatevers from like shining through the seam once you have a light inside your project. Oh, wait, this needs to be flush with the bottom here, not the top. There we go. Okay, now, I'm sorry, I keep bumping into my tripod camera holder and shaking it. So it just goes right in the center there. Okay. Okay, next we're gonna put the back wall on. Just pressing that from the inside here. And close that up. Now I'm just pressing this seam from the inside. And let's see. Should I put the bottom on now? Yes. Oh, the bottom I can just drop in through the top. So let me grab the bottom. Here's my pile. I have my top in the top panel. And I have the bottom here. Yeah, I think I can go ahead and do that. I'm just making sure I'm not getting ahead of myself before it's too late. I think we're good. All right. This could go either way, but it's a little bit wider than it is deep. So it goes like this. I'm gonna put a line of glue around the edge, and then on top of, my structure is on top of scrap paper because I might get some glue on my work table. So I put a line of glue around the edge. Now I'm gonna flip it over and just carefully drop it down inside. I'm probably blocking the whole, I mean, there's not much to see because it's a little tricky to show this. Let me adjust as I go. But there, okay. A good view of my arm, the back of my arm. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's go ahead and center this right on our base. Oh boy, don't fail me now, Scotch Quick Dry. Oh boy, oh no, no, just a little more. Okay, so this just goes right in the center. Obviously there's a front step that juts out in the front, but just try to center it as nicely as you can with an even border around, and that'll be great. That'll be fine. That'll be fine then. I will gently press and give that some time to take hold. I'm going to put this right onto the front hold on. Let me get a different angle for that. These will be going right on also. This goes right up underneath this, but I'm going to adjust my camera angle here before we proceed. I probably should not have glued it on the base yet so I could lay it down nicely. That's my mess up. This. Okay, so again, this will be getting glued right onto the front. And if you need to use hot glue, you can. That'll be going there. This step will be going right into it. Just like that. Then this will be going here. Right up underneath those dormers. And then these will go underneath that, underneath this. And then this will go right up at the top too. Okay, we'll put this here. I'm gonna get some glue on the back side and the bottom. So you might need to hold this for a little time if you want to pause and do some holding in place while your glue dries. Gently press from inside is good. And then glue your step into place. Mine's pulling away a little bit, so I mean, this is my second one that I'm making, but I do want it to be halfway decent. I think I might give this to my parents if they want another paper house on display for Christmas. I don't know. I'm sure they do. Of course. When he's back. Or maybe my friend, I don't know. It's festive. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to make it, filming it at the same time makes it kind of hard to make it as like accurate as I would like. So this, we're gonna put glue on the back side. So here's the front, here's the back. I'm really down to my last couple squirts of this glue. And you want it to be touching right the underside of those dormers. So Woodstock, Illinois is another cool town with a really neat downtown with historic buildings. I love visiting, driving through. I usually just drive through at this time of year on the way to some family. But there's like a whole square. Instead of just a main street, there's like a square. It's really cool. That's where they filmed Groundhog Day back in the 90s. Speaking of cool old buildings. So next I'm going to glue these little guys. We have 4 little spots for these to go. There we go. You can certainly pause and take your time more because I'm rushing that a little bit. Then this is going to go right here, just right along the top. And if you need to hot glue it, there's no shame in hot gluing. None at all. Or you can just put a line of your glue. It's just a little tricky to make sure it's making contact. That's why I say if you need to hot glue, you do it, you go for it. Because it's hard to kind of press this down because it's hollow in the middle, so there's no way for me to really press it from the inside. So it's kind of annoying. This is probably the most annoying part. I'm a little annoyed. So, if you want to hot glue it, I fully support that because it's not even staying. It's annoying. It's annoying me. It's bothering me. Okay. Probably gonna hot glue that. But for now, let's take one of these final steps here and glue our top panel onto our top and then glue that on and then put our lights inside and see how it looks. Oh, that might be it on my glue. Okay. Oh, I forgot to ink this. But it looks good without it. Okay, this can go on the top. Just squeeze this pretty hard. Okay, let's get this on. Wrap this baby up because I still, right now at this moment in time, I still need to zip up the PDF once I paste those steps in that we just did. So when you print out if you print out your PDF or whatever, if you want to look at it on your computer, I don't know why I'm just now mentioning it at the end, but it has a checklist of those steps. So if you want to follow along with those titles, that I had on the chalkboard, the same titles of each step as in your PDF that comes with your download. I'll probably mention that in the beginning. Okay, this guy needs to get fixed on mine. There we go. Oof. Okay, now I've got a dot of hot glue on my swag, and I'll just put it centered. Is it centered? More or less. Right up there. There it is. Lovely. Now let's put our lights in. Okay, so I hot glued this and this on. It was highly recommend. Much easier. Okay, now I have my lights. And just like everything else, these are linked below. You can use any kind of light you want. Something that doesn't get warm is nice. These are LED lights. The color temperature of the light itself is warm white, so it's more of like a golden glow instead of like a stark like cool temperature. I like the fact that these plug in, so you don't have to mess with batteries, but you can certainly use battery powered lights. And for this one I made it so that you could get in there easily, or if you want to use this to feed the cord through, you have choices there. So just gonna feed this through and then plug it in. I'm pretty much gonna just leave this like coiled up. So this is random, but I'm gonna just shove these through the hole. Once they're in there, I will kind of like fluff them. I could fluff them up a little bit or just whatever. I think it'll be fine. This is not very like elegant, but here we are. Okay. I have it all going through there. Here's my plug. So even though these don't get hot, I still wouldn't leave this unattended. So there it is. Looks good. It looks like it could be like Scrooge and Marley's office too. So please be sure and share a picture of yours if you make one. I would love to see. And so with the rest of our crafty friends, of course. The Winterberry Tea Shoppe. Looking good. It's going to go nicely with the other buildings if you make any of the other ones, such as Mistletoe Manor, the Silent Night Church, Balsam Manor. It's at the same scale, so you can go with whatever you have in mind. So that's it. That's how to make the new Winterberry Tea Shoppe step by step. I hope you had an awesome time making it. I hope you found it enjoyable, and let me know what you thought. Let me know anything along the way. Comment as many times as you want on this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on my ramblings and on the project. And be sure and share a picture or a video of yours if you want, especially on Facebook. If you like Facebook, we have my biggest fan base is probably more on Facebook than any other social media, so that's where I kind of show up a little bit more. I have a Facebook group and a page, so it's a good place to share, or anywhere that you like to share. You can even email me if you want, and I would love to see it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.